The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.
Ding dong. Hello?
Yes, that's right, infidels. You found us here, channelattitude.com, Hamin Media Group, where you get the most real talk, the best reviews of all your favorite wrestling shows from AEW and WWE, Impact, and more, because we're going to break it all down with the best staff in professional wrestling at HMG. So you don't need to go anywhere else, because there's no 5 stars here. There's only $5 face slaps, infidel. Hello, Akbar! So sign up today, channelattitude.com, Hamin Media Group, and join the Hamin Army for the most real talk in professional wrestling. YOLO!
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ruh-roh. Guys, listen, whatever 'tis hours paying you, I can pay you double. I can get you whatever you need. What do you need? Family, a home? Oh, you don't need to stand up. What? Please, Tozawa. I'm done. Look at me, Tozawa. Please give me the cup back.
All I want is Heritage Cup match.
No way. You didn't even get a point in Nickelodeon. Tozawa, make it stop. You can have your match. You've got your match. Next week, you know, if you want, just back them off. Please. Yes. Yes.
See you next week.
Yes, we're back. We're back. Go.
Braun just picking up and tossing.
Okay, stop silly. You don't look
I feel
good.
bad for the guy.
You don't look good doing that, Vic. Just do your job. Just do your job. You do that very, very well.
Well, some believe Braun also has been wearing what he did to Von Wagner like a badge of honor. Like it's a trophy on his shoulder. That is now,
Look, this is
hopefully this is the end for Braun Breaker, who just speared
no bread, no water, just me.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
the Booker!
Oh! Dang, oh!
Oh, Henley not going to stay down. Look at these two. The bell hasn't sounded.
Let's do it.
And look, Tiffany Stratton did say she was done just a second ago, but she certainly doesn't like when someone gets one up on her.
When you big enough to pass a lick, you big enough to take one. That's what my mama said.
Ooh! Well, Henley going knee first, and again, referee trying to get some sort of order.
You want to fight, right?
For nothing. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking about validating. She wanted this.
Hold on a second. I thought Tiffany would have been flattered that Henley was impersonating her.
Come on. Did you miss me?
This isn't right. Even you know that.
No, it's not. It's not right.
do this again. Look! It's Von Wagner! He's walking!
He's talking.
He's here! Von going right after Braun Breaker. Bam! Take it to him, big man! All the pain, all the trauma. And Von planted Braun.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's Jane looking.
You got this!
Oh, wait a minute. Green on prettier connects. Second time the charm into the cover, and Green and Niven retain. That landing just shook us, Book.
Oh, man, that's what I'm talking about, this kid.
Frazier's got to be out. Dominic to the top. Frazier's not moving. Frog splash.
Night, beauty, pinpoint. Oh, yes.
Mysterio retains.
Here is your winner, and still the NXT North American Champion.
Vic, stand up.
Dominic Mysterio.
Stand up, Vic. Stand up. Stand up, Vic. Oh, no.
Crash and burn for Garza. Julius rising with Carrillo. Wow. Brutus ball. Booker, that's Wesley.
Oh, wait a minute.
The Cardiac Kid has returned. And appears to have set his sights on an old foe. Polani going to the tank. Hey! That's what you mentioned with Lopez. Looking for the proof she's one of a kind again. Didn't connect your right book on the injured left knee. And good night. Vice into the cover. Lola Vice, the breakout superstar.
Here is the winner of the 2023 NXT Women's Breakout Tournament, Lola Vice.
He's gonna go for that shot.
Looking for that exclamation point off the top. Got caught! Got dropped! This is Hayes' moment!
He's gonna do it.
Trying to get back to his feet. Hayes starting to climb. Hayes!
What?
Trick is back! Hayes looks like he's seen a ghost! We gotta remember though, Booker, a championship matchup still going on. It's the main event of Halloween Havoc. The champion now. That door open, looking to slam it shut. Floating over off the superplex. Hayes is rocked.
He's in that position.
Torpedo Moscow! Dragunov retains.
I told you! Keep your head on a swivel!
Ray Hernandez, Jamie the Vet Williams. This is your Next Level Wrestling Review. Presented by Hamin Media Group and ChannelAttitude.com. And
Hello everyone and welcome to the Next Level podcast. I am your host Jimmy T, whereas Big Ray is on assignment for the time being, but he'll be back next week. But my co-host Vet, welcome back to the Next Level podcast. It is your show. And what's going on, man? I mean, what a Halloween Havoc. Kind of weird actually watching it. Night 2 anyway, to be more specific.
Hello, Jimmy, and hello, everyone. Yes, that's right. Big Ray is on assignment. He assigned himself an appointment knowing that he has a weekly show that he has to do, and he's actually done this more times than I've missed shows. So that's actually amazing, right? It's like, it's great. But anyway, yes, Halloween Havoc. It was. Did you end up getting to watch the first episode of Halloween Havoc from last week?
I saw bits and pieces. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched the little highlights package. But I watched obviously the whole lot of night 2. But I know what happened on night 1.
Okay. Well, then you're all caught up. I mean, who has time to go back and watch all that crap anyway? I think you do enough over at the PWC.
Yeah, it gets like that. It's tough, man, to watch all these wrestling shows every week. Man, it burns you out after a while. I'm not gonna lie.
I can tell that we're all just a little bit fed up. You know, when I get to hang out with you and Chris on the wreckage and like, just, it's really hard to like things, you know?
The wreckage.
Everything just makes you miserable, you know?
It's not that it's miserable, man. It's just, look, so right now, especially like on the AEW thing, aside the thing, it's pretty bad, man. Let's be honest. And as far as WWE goes, yeah, even right now, it's a bit of a, I don't know if it's because of Crown Jewel and whatnot, but it's gone a little bit stale. Not too bad, not as bad as AEW, but still a little stale. But in saying that, I mean, this Halloween Havoc, just watching it, I mean, I know they do this every year, but the silliness of it in a way just is a little too much for me. Well, I don't know. That's just me though, Vic.
Does that remind you of AEW? Like when you're watching, and don't worry, we'll get to all your favorite Halloween Havoc Night 2 moments. Don't worry. But when you're watching it, when you're watching like this haunted house vignettes, are you saying like this is definitely, you could just immediately slide in Roderick Strong and the Kingdom, and you could do this exact same thing with these, like I could be watching this on a Wednesday night or whatever. Did that thought cross your mind?
Yeah, man, it's definitely like watching it every Wednesday or Saturday night when it comes to AEW. But yeah, man, I mean, it's too much of it. It's too much. I get it. It's Halloween, and happy Halloween to everybody. But still, I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Did we need 2 weeks of this?
Yes, we did.
Oh wow. Well, Before we get into it proper though, Vet, let's just acknowledge the chat, because we've got a whole bunch of people in the chat, man. We got Labrat in the house. We got Aaron Ben Shlomo, Mike Verde, who I'm pretty sure is good old Media M5. Hey, there's you. Even the opinion haver's in the house.
Even me, I'm in the house. Can you believe it?
Yeah. I can't. Paul, aka the Shooter's also in the house. Frank's Pickle Barrel, Elizabeth, and I think that's about. Oh, Zane Vicious also has joined us.
More. Keep going.
Jesus Christ. Darkside Casters was also in the house. The Hammer, Charles Orford's in the house as well. And Richard Rocket Review. I mean, Jesus, man. It is J12 also.
Do we
We've
get
got a
Dan
whole
Heffern?
bunch of people. We
Do
do.
we get Dan Heffern here. The artist returns.
J12 is in the house. I have not. Yes, we do. We do. We do actually have Dan Heffron. And I think that's about it, Vet. Jeez.
Well,
Thank you for everybody joining us. That's more than enough. And I'm just happy that
they're all coming up to the door with their bags. Like, hey, what do you got left? You know, trick or treat, motherfucker.
Actually, I wonder, did you do any trick or treating, Vet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know me. I always I'm the most trick or treat guy. No, it's where I'm at. It's kind of like a dead deal. They don't really do it anymore.
You know what's funny, man? Speaking of Halloween and trick or treating, back in the day, me growing up, it felt like no one gave a shit about Halloween here, man. Not my generation anyway. But now, I mean, all I saw yesterday on the roads was pumpkins all over the road. You know, every house sort of done up in the, you know, spooky styles and whatnot. And I just find that interesting because, yeah, I felt like here in Australia in particular, no one really cared about Halloween, but now it seems like everybody does.
I could be wrong, but I feel like our parents' generation did not really do that as much.
No, definitely not, man.
And then our generation was kind of the trick-or-treating generation.
Yeah.
And then now all of us are grown up, so now you've got a bunch of adult weirdos who like Halloween all the time, and no offense, Liz, you're a weirdo. That's not an insult. It's just a fact of life. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, so there's people that want to celebrate Halloween year round, and they just always get super excited about Halloween. It's like kids wanted to have candy on Halloween when I was a kid, but I don't remember like the hype. So now when you love something as a kid and then you grow up and now you're in control and you're not relying on your parents for everything, now you can be as weird and celebratory about it as you want to be. So now we see all these houses all decorated with, inflatable shit on the lawn and, all this stuff. Yeah, they never went that hard when I was a kid on Halloween, but now all of the kids are grown up and they want to just do it big. So that's how it goes.
It's just weird, man. Like I said, all I see is pumpkin everywhere, dude. But you know what, dude? Should we get into next episode? Unless there's any news we need to speak of, should we do a 3 count? No, not that. I mean, it's been kind of a quiet week this week, man, to be fair.
Well, should we do a this week? Like Ray likes to do a this week in wrestling history. Should we do one? I have one pulled up just in case we wanted to do it. I mean, we could let the chat decide if we do it. You guys can vote. If you want to see a this week in wrestling. Because really the news is it really is just like a bunch of so and so won on Halloween Havoc Night too. Like that. That's not that's not news. Kevin Nash said something on a podcast. That's not news. Do you like how all the news, the wrestling news is just, I listened to a podcast and here's a soundbite. Like that's now a news article. Like we could all just be listening to these podcasts ourselves, but now we got other people to do it and clip stuff out of context for us to start fights on the internet.
Yeah, it's true, man. Well, does that mean, the listeners all want actually a 3, what do you call it? Not a 3 count. I was going to say at this week in professional wrestling. So Vet, go for it, man. Do it. What was the day in wrestling?
Let's see what some of the chat answers. Aaron Beshlomo says, TK bought New Japan yet? Yeah, Ray. When is that deal going through?
Oh, well.
Remember that?
Yeah. He would never
remember that?
buy it,
remember
dude.
how
That's
it was a
not
done
gonna
deal and Ray had sources and he knew? He was just like, it's happening, yeah. Yeah, it already
There's
happened.
no chance. There's no chance it's gonna ever happen. As a matter of fact, I don't even think the Japanese people in general, and everyone at Bushiroad still own New Japan, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way they would give it up to a Westerner. I just would never see that happen.
Especially not him. Especially after he hugged him. Like after he went and hugged him, they're not gonna sell him anything.
Dude, the fact that he turned up at Wrestle Dream like he was Antonio Inoki made me want to puke. I'm not kidding.
They gave him the scarf though. They did give him the scarf. In fairness.
Yeah, but he was even dressed up.
They handed out several scarves, so it wasn't even special. He wasn't even the only one to get that.
So embarrassing, man. I couldn't help but think Antonio Inoki would be rolling in his grave seeing this, man. Did he ever meet Khan? I don't think he has he?
Of course not. You kidding me? No.
Thank God.
He'd be like, get this mark out of my face. But in Japanese. So there's that. Frank says, do it, baby. Media 5 says, well, he can't spell, but I think he's saying, do this week in wrestling. He wants it.
Well, Liz also said,
Liz says, do it. Labrat says, do it. Everybody wants it. Choppers flying overhead. Hopefully you guys can't hear that with the new.
I can.
You can? You can hear that?
I can, yeah.
Man,
I thought it was me.
StreamYard's audio shit's not doing their job. They're supposed to. It says no, please God, no. Okay. Well, have some more Burger King Media M5 and settle in because we're doing it on this day in wrestling history, November 1st. You're going to love some of these. Okay. On November 1st, in 1990, Jushin Thunder Liger, you may have heard of him, speaking of New Japan, defeated the Pegasus Kid to win his third IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship.
That's Chris Benoit, a.k.a., right?
That it is. It is him.
The Pegasus Kid. Actually, I shouldn't have even mentioned his name. We'll just go by the Pegasus Kid from now on, Vet.
Halloween's over, Jimmy. You don't have to bring up the... Okay, we're going to skip ahead to 1997. Let's see. Bret Hart officially signs his WCW contract. So according to this, the contract is worth $2.5 million per year and was supposed to be kept confidential until after the Survivor Series pay-per-view on November 9th. So
I remember that.
They leaked the news. I wonder who. And so that would have already been, so he had signed his WCW contract 8 days prior, which is interesting. He went through all that other shit.
That was a great time, actually, to be a wrestling fan, obviously. And I remember that like it was yesterday. But it just seems, now that I think back on it, though, Vet, that it seemed a little convenient when, what's it called? What was his documentary called again? Wrestling with Shadows.
Wrestling with Shadows.
How that was going on right at the same time as he was going through his negotiations with WCW and all the bullshit that he was going through with Vince McMahon and the WWF at the time. Do you think it was a work deep down?
No.
I don't either, but some people have got some great... No, I don't. I asked the question because I saw a documentary, actually, about it, if it's a work or not. And there was some good points, man, that certain people actually gave. So, and it made me think. But then I think back, too much shit happened, man. Like, there's just no way that was work. So, but I mean, there are some interesting points, though, no doubt about it. And to be fair, did it really make? I mean, think about the hype Bret Hart had about at the time jumping to WCW, only for WCW to totally blow it.
The whole thing was bizarre. I mean, I think you can look back at a lot of things during that time and say, why did this really happen? You didn't have to do it like this. But in a way. It kind of, I don't know. I like to think what could have happened if it would, the simplest thing would have been to just be like, all right, well, if you don't want the, why did it have to be Shawn Michaels? You know what I mean? Like if Bret is saying, I'll drop it to anybody but him, why didn't they just let him drop it to somebody else?
It's true. I mean,
they could have just done, or if he didn't want to do it, then just take the belt from him. All right, just, we're taking the belt. Bret Hart's been stripped of the title. Like what you know, it
could have done that.
It's so dumb. So dumb. The whole thing's dumb. Let's not talk about it. It's been talked about enough.
Yeah, that's true. Let's move on.
But the next year, though, 1998, ECW November to Remember took place at the Lakefront Arena in New Orleans, Louisiana. One title changed hands when Balls Mahoney and Masato Tanaka, remember that team, defeated Bubba and Devon to win the ECW Tag Team Championships. And in the main event, Rob Van Dam, Sabu, and Taz beat the Triple Threat. You remember the Triple Threat? Can you name the Triple Threat?
I do. The Triple Threat, wasn't it? Shane Douglas was one. Who was the other two, man? Damn it, I'm forgetting Yvette. You got to fucking. I'm on the spot. But am I wrong? Was Shane Douglas one of them?
Shane Douglas is one.
Who was the other two, man? I should know this.
Media M5 is wrong. I just said Sabu and Taz and Rob Van Dam were a team to defeat the Triple Threat.
Yes. Oh man, I know this.
Nope. Not seeing it. Not seeing it.
Well, can we?
Dark Side got
Francine.
The chat has pieced it together Frankenstein style again, a day late. But yes, the Triple Threat was Bam Bam Bigelow, Chris Candido, and Shane Douglas.
I knew I was gonna say Candido, but I wasn't sure about Bam Bam. But that was a long time ago, man. Damn, I should have known that though, man. To be on the spot, you know, for some reason, when we're live, I forget some of the like simpler stuff, and I don't even understand why. It's not like I'm nervous or anything. Strange.
Jimmy's scared, guys. He can't be put on the spot. Can't call it in the ring. He's got to have pre-planned bullshit.
Dude, I forget the simplest of wrestlers sometimes, believe me.
Well, let's see if you remember these guys. Also in 1998, WWE taped the debut of Super Astros, which was a lucha libre focused show made for the Hispanic market. You know, they're trying to break into that Hispanic market, Jimmy. In the main event, El Hijo del Santo defeated Super Loco.
Ooh, I never watched it. I remember hearing about it. It was never on any of my channels down here, that's for sure. How long did it last for? Not long.
Yeah, not too long. Or maybe it did last a long time and nobody cared because we really didn't pay attention to that stuff.
That's true.
And then skip ahead to 2004. On Raw, La Resistance, which was at this point Rob Conway and Sylvain Grenier. Who knows what happened to Renee? He'd probably already been beaten up by it. No, he wasn't there yet, was he? Or was he? He must have. He had to have been. Are they sure? 2004. Well, anyway. Defeats Edge and Chris Benoit to win the World Tag Team Championship. So La Resistance becomes the champs.
You know what? I was a fan of La Resistance, except not when Rob Conway joined them.
I'm sorry?
I was a fan of La Resistance, except for when Rob Conway ended up joining them. That's when they went kind of flat. But Dupree and Grenier were actually great together. I think they were a great team.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, good enough, right? I mean, there was just a lot of blandness going on in that mid-2000s period, you know?
Big time, dude.
So, you know, even just being able to say, well, we got a French tag team. There you go. Great.
Remember the French tickler?
Yes, I do. And all these kids in the audience having to have their parents tell them, don't say that.
That's
so
funny,
yeah. The next year, 2005, WWE presented the second and final Taboo Tuesday pay-per-view in San Diego. In the first bout, Ric Flair successfully defended his Intercontinental Championship. Remember when Ric Flair was the Intercontinental Champion?
I do, as a matter of fact.
Against Triple H in an old school style cage match. I don't know what that means. Does that mean it was the blue cage? What is that?
Or the black cage afterwards, which was the same as the blue cage, but still. Yeah. I have no idea, but if I remember correctly, didn't Triple H win?
No, it says he successfully defended it against Triple H, so he did not win.
Wasn't that the same time, roughly, where Triple H was Intercontinental Champion? Oh, no, that was 2001, actually.
Yeah, that was 2001. I remember that. The two-man power trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Not John Paz and Lavi Margolin, but the other two-man power trip. Yeah, so the fans voted for the cage. The other two things they could have done was a regular match or a submission match. So back, during these voting times, supposedly the voting was real, but they would always put options that would steer the fans into a certain direction. So it's like, of course, we're going to still manipulate it even when, I wonder why this stuff didn't last, right?
Well, Taboo Tuesday did end up becoming Cyber Sunday, actually, after that. So,
right. That's why it's funny that they say this is the final Taboo Tuesday. Yeah, except for all the Cyber Sundays, right? So.
Well, yeah. I mean, it didn't last too much longer, though.
Not really. John Cena in the main event won the triple threat match for the WWE Championship against Kurt Angle, and the fans voted for Shawn Michaels, which the other two choices for the main event were Big Show and Kane. So,
I mean, come on.
Which has got to be great, right? Like when that's knowing the wrestlers and their egos, like this has got to be great whenever you don't get picked for something that really lets you know what the fans think of you, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why they should never, ever do that again, to be honest.
So they definitely had an interesting idea, though, here, because the two people that didn't get voted for got a World Tag Team Championship shot. So that means Big Show and Kane went on to defeat Cade and Murdoch for the Tag Team Championships. Which has got to have been one of the worst matches that's ever happened in WWE history, is that match right there.
Remember Lance Cade, funny enough, he passed away in his 20s still, right? From a heart problem.
I think so. I think he was in his 20s.
I'm pretty sure.
Definitely young definitely too young to be dying of. Yeah. But
R.I.P. to Lance Cade.
Speaking of which, in 2012, November 1st, sadly, Brad Armstrong was found in his home in Georgia at the age of 51. So
Brad Armstrong,
also
man,
young.
he was so underrated. Way too young.
Yep. He always mentioned by people as one of the great workers of all time, Brad Armstrong. They always talk about how good and smooth he was. And, they always say the same thing. Man, he was so good in the ring, and he was so good, he was so funny backstage, and yet he could never translate that into an on-screen persona. Which is like, well,
right.
Did anybody ever try to let him transform it into an on-screen persona? I mean, I don't remember them giving Brad Armstrong too many microphones or giving him a chance, right? Like
never, dude. As a matter of fact, I hate to say this, but I remember him more so as a glorified jobber, man, when you think about it.
Yeah, because guys that are good, they want you to get the stars over, not be over yourself. The stars are bad, and they have to have other people make them look good. That's just how it is. That's wrestling.
Well, that is wrestling, but at least he was, he was on television every week, man, from what I remember.
Yeah, but it'd be on like WCW Pro at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
or.
I mean, I'd see him on Nitro too. Don't get me wrong, and Thunder.
Well, they did have 3 hours to fill.
That's true. Remember that? Fuck, we've gone full circle, man. I remember even back then when Nitro went 3 hours, everyone was complaining. Even then, that 3 hours was just way too long. And to be fair, let's be real. I mean, that was the beginning, really, of the downfall of WCW. From that point, it was no looking back. Once they went 3 hours and then went back to 2 hours, they were done.
Yeah. It's a problem in wrestling, and it's a problem in business when people like something, instead of saying, you like this. Well, let's carefully figure out how we can make people like it more. They all just say, you like this? Well, here's a bunch of it. It'd be like if you you went to a restaurant and got a delicious slice of pizza and was like, wow, this pizza's really good. And then the restaurant owner just comes and like feeds the rest of the slices down your throat. Like, you like it? Okay. And then you're never going to eat pizza again. So,
geez. Hey, that's not too far from, ethnic grandmothers, man. That's what, especially my ones, they used to just keep eating. It's like, fine. Look at me, man. God damn it.
that's it. So,
like Chris Willis said,
of
snack attack.
Snack attack. So if you, so speaking of fantastic, 2016 TNA Impact Wrestling taped their total nonstop deletion event at the Hardy compound in Cameron, North Carolina.
Were they still TNA at that point?
Yes.
Oh,
apparently.
Okay. I thought it was Impact by that point.
I mean, this is just what it says here on this random internet page I found. I don't know if this is the one that Ray uses, but they say it's TNA Impact Wrestling. So, and when I asked Brandon about it on one of the Impact attacks we did, he said they changed to Impact Wrestling in 2017. So,
yeah, man, I remember
somewhere around
by
this
that
time.
Point. Yeah, no, it was definitely around that time. Was it? Yeah, it was still the Dixie TNA when they changed to Impact, wasn't it?
Probably.
Right.
But in this, let's see. This is where King Maxwell beat Rockstar Spud in a 47-second no disqualification match. And then the Hardys won the tag team Apocalypto match for the tag team titles.
Did you like all the hype back then, Vet? Were you into this, or do you think it was blown way out, like overhyped?
Famously, I've made my position on this clear multiple times that this is absolutely horrible. It's one of the worst things to ever happen in wrestling, and it's its minor spike in internet wrestling fan popularity is probably the reason that we have to see shit like, this Scooby-Doo skits on Halloween Havoc and the Roderick Strong and Adam Cole shit. Like because people think that terrible movie style comedy vignettes are what people want to see in wrestling. So thanks a lot,
Teddy
Hardys.
Yeah, you think that has a big thing to do with it? You're probably right. It probably does.
If they had done like the final deletion or whatever, and everybody shit on it, I don't think we'd be seeing nearly as much of this stuff.
Yeah, you're probably right, man. It's true.
Not that it was the first one to ever be bad. Like, look, you can go back all the way to Tuesday Night Titans for bad comedy, in wrestling. But
remember that shit?
Yeah, nonetheless, it's still, I don't think people today that are shooting these vignettes, or like whoever in TNA wrestling now thinks that, they're like making, cinema quality vignettes and shit with Frankie Kazarian bring a box of TNA out of a lake or whatever. Like whoever these people are doing this now, I'm sure they don't go all the way back to Tuesday Night Titans for their inspiration. I'm sure they're just looking at the broken Matt Hardy stuff and being like, wow, let's do this. Or Bray Wyatt stuff, Wyatt family stuff. All this cinematic stuff that we see, you kind of have like Bray Wyatt and the Hardys to thank for that.
God damn it, man. It was speaking of, but I mean, look at the Hardys now, dude. From that, and look, let's be real. At the time, like it or not, and yeah, I wasn't really the biggest fan of it either. But I mean, it was cool for what it was. But it was silly. But it did give TNA Impact Wrestling a spike at the time, man. Like it really did. At a time where no one gave a shit about Impact Wrestling. Let's be honest.
I think that's debatable. I mean, nothing has ever happened to Impact except they've been kicked further and further down the television ladder.
Well, that's true. That's
like,
very true.
Regardless of any spikes or anything, they just, going from literal spike, and getting the best ratings they'd have, and then just they keep finding shittier and shittier channels to put them on. Destination America, Pop TV, whatever, Access TV.
Pop
it's
TV.
just like, God,
Destination America. Jeez.
Yeah, remember that? Okay, so the point is, meh, I don't like it. I think that Matt, you didn't like Hardy's at the zoo, says Frank's Pickle Boy. Well, I like that Matt thought that the giraffe had been reincarnated into George Washington, but I mean, like stuff like that is funny, or was the kangaroo George Washington? I don't remember.
Oh no, it was the kangaroo. It was the kangaroo, man.
Who was 100%. The giraffe then?
Oh, I can't remember, man, but the kangaroo was definitely George Washington, if I remember correctly. That's actually their pet kangaroo, right? Frank Prickles Barrel. Who's funny. Idea. Jimmy only watches Bluey. Come on, man.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's a funny. Comment.
But just to be clear, the idea of Matt Hardy acting weird is not a problem in of itself. It's just when you're expected to believe all this, like magic and teleporting and stuff. It's like, oh, okay, well, now you've really jumped the shark. So
I delete you. It's so dumb, bro. Like now that I think about it, it's just delete. Like, come on.
Yeah. What the hell was wrong with everybody like 7 years ago?
Well, think about it, dude. There was a point where, grabbing someone's crotch and then doing it into a flip finisher was over, bro.
Not to anybody real. Just a PWG.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I mean, think about that.
Yeah. So in 2019, remember this, Jimmy? In 2019, NXT invaded SmackDown.
I do remember.
Remember that?
And when Adam Cole was
the
winning
first
every
time
match?
he beat Daniel Bryan.
Right.
Yep, for the NXT Championship match. They had a bunch of, it says here, Tommaso Ciampa defeated The Miz, Rhea Ripley and Tegan Nox beat Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. So there's a couple of matches from that show.
God damn it. What were they thinking at the time? And it done nothing for these guys, really, when you think about it, and girls. I mean, did it really?
No.
Done nothing.
But that is because they were never going to let NXT like continue to outshine what was supposed to be the major product. And I think that was a Vince thing, right?
I'm sure it was 100%, man. Of course, it would have been a Vince thing, but God damn it, none of these midgets are beating any of my guys, but they did.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
oh man, sometimes I think when Triple H had his cardiac arrest, whatever the hell he had, that heart attack. Do you think it has a lot to do with all the stress Vince had put him under at the time? By changing NXT into the colorful bullshit that we had 2.0.
No, that was you got your timeline mixed up. That happened after. No, that happened after he was in the hospital. Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe
he waited till Triple H couldn't do anything about it. Then he, yeah.
Even
Not
worse.
that he had to, because he's still in charge. But I mean, anyway, yeah. So TGYRCTV says that's because the real group was still stuck in Saudi on the tarmac, right? I didn't say that because I wasn't sure if that was the time, but I thought this was that time. One of the reasons they did this was because there was a lot of people that weren't available still. So it was basically they were left with whoever didn't go to Saudi Arabia and who was still in the States. And then the NXT people came up. So
yeah, no, it's true. Even Paul, the shooter, says half the main roster was stuck in Saudi, which forced the NXT invasion, if you want to call it that.
Right. Which, did that make it any more exciting? Or could you have just said, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special show for you tonight. We've got some people from NXT here, and we're going to give you some matches that you haven't seen before, rather than, the whole bullshit, we're taking over. There's only two storylines in wrestling that people keep trying to get over, okay? Somebody keeps trying to get over invasion storylines, usually Eric Bischoff or somebody related to Eric Bischoff, or evil authority figure storyline. So it's like you just try to keep recreating the NWO or Vince McMahon's Attitude Era over and over and over again, because those were the most successful things in the modern era. So that's what you keep going back to. So NXT couldn't just come in and have some matches and they have a nice exhibition show. No, you had to make it an invasion. And, what does that even mean, invasion? You all work. You're all cashing the same checks.
Not just that, when you think back on it, right? Doesn't it make NXT look like pussies since they waited to invade when most of the main roster wasn't around, when you think about it?
That too. You know, that
I mean,
certainly didn't
shit.
help. Yeah, but
God damn it.
yeah. But what you're seeing now, though, is whether you like it or not, and that's definitely debatable, you know, amongst yourselves, whether you like it, but there at least is more cohesion, because if NXT is supposed to be your, that's supposed to be like you getting you ready for Raw and SmackDown, right? You're getting TV experience. You're learning how the WWE does things. You're doing like sort of local house show tours and stuff, so you get used to being on the road. And it's like, it really is getting you ready for the big time. But then what was happening for a long time was that's Triple H's thing, and Vince is doing his thing. And when a guy, Vince is not paying attention to NXT. So when a guy, a talent has been, you know, they've been trained, they've been packaged. Here's your music, here's your entrance, here's your character, here's all the stuff you're doing. And then he gets up there, Vince sees him for the first time. He's like, well, I see you like this. And then he changes everything. So what was the point? So now at least what you're seeing is like guys are coming up. They're coming on Raw. They're coming on SmackDown. They're being presented the way they were presented in NXT. That's the whole idea, because Triple H is aware. He signed these guys, so he knows what they're doing. He knows who he wants, or, you know, whatever. And he's like, it's time for this guy. It's time for this guy. And he's not surprised to see them show up on Raw. Like, who's this guy? He knows who they are. So when you got, like, say, the Creeds go on Monday Night Raw and get a win, you know, over Alpha Academy, those are the Creeds that were in NXT. They're not like a different guys with a different name or a different gimmick. And that's what was happening for a large portion of that, you know, the NXT time. So now at least there's some cohesion, right, with the developmental actually getting called up.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's the positive thing about it now with Triple H running things. But has that even been blown out of proportion now that you brought it up? Actually, Vet, you made me think. You know, sure, a lot of the guys that have jumped from NXT to the main roster, you know, have somewhat changed. Like, you know, like War Machine, for example. The Viking Raiders. How many name changes they went through? Right, that's true. But just in general, going through the history of all the call-ups coming up and whatnot, do they really change him that much? Okay, Cross, you could say that. Or is
Keith Lee.
Keith Lee, well, yeah, the Bearcat. I mean, come on.
Don't forget the tennis skirt.
Jesus. That's what I mean, man. That's such a typical Vince thing to do, right? Why would he do? Is it out of ego, do you think?
Because he doesn't. Vince McMahon doesn't like wrestling, okay? It's that simple. Right. I know everybody's like, what? What do you mean? But I mean,
sports entertainment, pal.
Yeah, he wants sports entertainment, right? He wants it to be anything but wrestling, but that's all he knows. So he's stuck with something he doesn't like to be his bread and butter, and he tries to make it anything but that. Triple H is a wrestling fan, but he also likes the big time spectacle that the WWE has always tried to provide, right? So he wants the best of both worlds. So Triple H is the kind of guy who, you know, like if he's on a car ride or a plane ride somewhere, you could see him with a tablet, like watching matches from NXT 100. Or watching matches from any other company. You could see somebody be like, hey, let's check this guy out, Triple H. So he might watch a match from MLW, or he might watch a match from Impact, or he might watch a match from NWA, or he might watch a match from New Japan just to see, oh, that would be a good fit. You could see Triple H watching wrestling to see what kind of wrestlers he would like to have on his show. Vince McMahon ain't watching no wrestling. You kidding me? No. He's like, he doesn't even know who gets signed until they show up. So he'll see this guy and he'll be like, what am I supposed to do with this guy? It's like somebody giving you a present you didn't want, you know, like, oh, thanks for the present. I didn't ask for this, but I guess I got to use it now. So if his vision of seeing a guy for the first time is different from the vision you had when you signed him 2 years ago. Of course, you're not going to see eye to eye on it. That's the thing. So now at least you are actually working with your developmental. Can you imagine if the people in the major leagues weren't looking at AAA ball players? They're not watching this. They're not reading the scouting reports. They're not watching the film or whatever. They're not looking at the box scores. They're just like, I don't know. Look at this 8x10 of this guy. Yeah. Give me this guy. I need a relief pitcher.
Times?
Give me this guy. He's like, sir, that's an outfielder. I don't care. I
don't care. Damn it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Give me that guy. So
yeah. Look at those biceps. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, he's a weird cat, man, when it comes to Vince McMahon. I mean, you're right. And at least, Triple H is truly a student of the game. I mean, he loves all aspects of pro wrestling, like literally from all the shit, in the back to the ring to whatnot. And that's the one thing you can appreciate about the game. I mean, sure, he's done some, stupid shit also, but I mean, no one's perfect.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I could go the other way and bury Triple H for a lot of stuff, but I'm just talking about him as a creative compared to Vince, right. And him being involved with, of course he's going to have a personal interest in the thing that he started, right? Like, of course he's going to care about NXT. So
right,
that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, yeah, Tegan Nox. Nobody cares. I get it. No. But at least this is the Tegan Nox that we've seen before. If you've seen her before, they didn't just completely give her a 180 character flip. It's fine. So that's a good thing for the talent, not having to worry about what's going to happen to them when they have to show up on Raw. Like, oh my God, what shitty gimmick are they going to change me into? Now they'll know they can just basically show up as is and do their thing. So good for them. But that is apparently nothing happened after 2019 on November 1st. So we're all caught up. Notable wrestling birthdays today. Tyler Rex, who I believe goes by something different now. Yeah.
Talk about weird.
Yeah. Is that Gabby Tuft? Is that
that's the one.
Okay. And of course, the possibly the single greatest wrestling personality of all time, Bobby the Brain Heenan's birthday was November 1st.
Absolutely. Happy birthday to the Weasel.
Yep, there you go. And that pretty much brings us, that brings an end to this day in wrestling history. So shout outs to Big Ray Hernandez for this, what would you call it? Recurring gimmick here.
Yeah, shout outs to Big Ray, and hopefully he's all right. Actually, as a matter of fact, on assignment,
he's fine. Stupid
Ray. We love you, Ray. Come on.
Yeah, I don't love you. It's a work acquaintance. It's like
don't, because you'll get upset. Don't say that.
He'll cry.
No, we're fucking.
And he'll remember it too. Like,
oh yeah,
he doesn't remember anything unless it's something I said about him on a show. Then he'll bring it up 2 weeks later and be like, "Hey, I remember when you said that."
Oh man, you've been killing it lately too on other shows, just quietly, man.
Oh, thank you.
With some of the stuff you said, but you're the vet. I mean, as per usual, you always kill it, man. I mean, come on.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy. You don't have to say it quietly. You can say it loudly.
True.
Just loudly.
Everyone tells me that. Anyway,
some things you can say quietly, like Gabby Tuft, but other things you can say loudly.
Man, Tyler X, yeah. I don't get it, man. I forgot about that Gabby Tuft, whatever. That's been a few years, and he's still she. Anyway, whatever.
Whatever it is. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh boy.
So what do you say, Jimmy? Should we get into this Halloween Havoc?
Do we have to?
Snavitz? No, we could just call it right here. You can find me at
okay. Yeah. No, go for it, man. Let's get into it, man.
All right.
Are you going to get into it first? You are. Yep.
Yeah, we're not going to take long here. All right. So we're kicking it off with the old Ecto 1 rolling up to the Performance Center. Oh, you're already sighing, Jimmy. What's wrong? You don't like Ghostbusters?
I love Ghostbusters, but didn't Matt Cardona do this just recently?
Well, I mean, Ghostbusters is very popular and
true, but still, come on. You're gonna
when
call.
He did it, it was like nowhere
Cardona.
near Halloween. I don't even know what the hell he was doing that.
I liked it though. It was against Nick Gage. That's why. Something to do. I forgot what the song is funny though. It had something to do with hardcore wrestling and whatnot. But anyway, who you gonna call? Definitely not Matt Cardona.
Nope, you're gonna call Shotzi and Scarlett.
Yeah,
two sexy Ghostbusters.
Hey,
these are the female Ghostbusters I like to see. Let me tell you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they intro the show, little cool outfits and everything. And then they have this live band again. The band is called New Year's Day, and they're playing a different song than last time while they do the recap package for the previous week. And then we start off with the Creed brothers that we were talking about earlier versus the Lotharios for tables, ladders, and scares. Ooh, and it's scary as Jimmy's disappeared. Some would say Jimmy T doesn't exist, actually, because he's from Australia, which may or may not be a real country or continent. But I think he's having some technical difficulties. Yeah, so it's Creed's tables, ladders, and scares. So I'm sure you can imagine this is tables, ladders, and chairs. And so immediately we just start off the show, and what we're doing here is voluntary furniture bumps, basically. That's what this is. You have 4 guys setting up furniture and then finding various ways to crash through bodies through it. I mean, that's what I call wrestling, right? I don't know. I could almost forgive this kind of thing, but if you watch wrestling across the board, whether it's, any of the other promotions, you're seeing at least like one match like this per week. And Jimmy's back.
I could hear everything you were saying. I don't know what was going on with my camera, but anyway, continue on, Vic.
Okay, so the camera was off. But so, you heard what I was saying. Like, you watch AEW, so this is nothing new. This is just any Wednesday, Friday, or Saturday night where guys are just going through stuff. Like, it's not a match. It's like, it's your turn to crash off a ladder. It's your turn to go through a table. It's your turn to get slammed on the apron. It's your turn to, like, and these fans are just like, they don't give a fuck. They're like, we want tables. Like,
yeah.
Okay. And what makes this table different than the last 500 tables that you saw this year?
Dude, not only that, I mean, they were crashing through the tables like something shocking. I mean, these guys have got to be banged up after this match. I mean, Julius Creed, was it him with the welt on his back from the ladder spot? Was it Julius or I can't remember.
Julius.
It was Julius. Dude, his back was absolutely fucked by the end of that match. And what was up with the Gazas? Were they the Wolves suddenly? Is that what was going on with them? I was going to call Humberto like Eddie Edwards, or it'd be Eddie Carrillo or something like that. I mean, what was up with the scratch marks?
Well, you see, Jimmy, what had happened was they had a dream where their grandfather came to them and scratched them on the titty each. And
I see.
And now, WWE has this technology where they can see inside your dream.
They can?
Right? Yes, they can actually see inside your dream. It's amazing technology. They're not sharing it with the rest of the world. That's why you don't see it on anything else. You only see it in like movies and TV shows and live wrestling. So
no.
they saw the ghost of their grandfather in the dream, and we could all see it. We could all see what they're dreaming. And luckily they also had a camera crew there just filming them sleeping, so that when they woke up and checked their chest for grandpa scratches, then the camera was right there to see it. And then conveniently, that's when I don't remember which was which, but the other guy came to and knocked on his door and told him about the crazy dream he's had. And that's when they showed each other the grandpa scratches. And now, as I say all that out loud, do you see why wrestling's a joke and the ratings are in the shitter?
But that's the thing. Why does wrestling have to be such a joke? You know what I mean? Why does everyone continuously book this way? I mean, like, I just don't understand why.
The Hardys?
Oh, well, yeah, okay. We can blame the Hardys at this point.
Yeah, it's their fault.
God damn it, Hardys.
Yeah, they really do think that they're on some sort of higher level of entertainment, and they just shoot these miniature short films, and that we're supposed to just go along with it,
Well, they're not next level entertainers, actually, Vet.
Certainly
just
not.
quietly. Certainly not. Oh, anyway, there's that. But that match, look, it was just a train wreck. I felt bad for all of them. When Garza went through the table on the outside, where it literally just combusted, it looked like the table exploded, dude. It was just, I'm like, damn, man, that must have hurt the guy. I feel like, yeah, like you said, it was spot after spot after spot. Let's just crash into this and crash into that. And they were just killing themselves out there unnecessarily, in my opinion, anyway. But nevertheless, the match was a train wreck. It didn't really go for long. And it was, what can I say about it? It was all right for what it was. If you're just watching it, just for the hell of it, sure, you could say it was kind of a fun train wreck. But really, this ain't pro wrestling, but it is what it is.
Yeah, it sure ain't. Well, anyway, a Doomsday Brutus ball through the tables for the win. Creed brothers win. There's really, they repackaged these guys, not the Creeds, but the other guys, Garza and Carrillo, and they try to give them this sort of a new look and a new focus and everything, and they just lose. There's really no heat here. Doesn't help anybody. Whatever, who cares?
Yeah,
a question popped up in the audience. Aaron Ben Shlomo says, Vet, from your experience as a wrestler, when do you think professional wrestling was replaced with joke wrestling?
The Hardys. Nah. It's always been around, really, Vet, when you think back.
Well, they've always had comedy matches in wrestling, even back in the day with the, in the circus days and stuff, where you had people wrestling bears or whatever, or they'd advertise midgets on the card, which would always, there was never no serious midget match, right? Like there's no,
remember Max Mini?
Like I said, there's no serious.
No.
Never go see them do like a Iron Man match, or what I mean?
Oh my God, bro. Can you imagine that? Oh my God. What about if a little dude is like the shit? He's such a great, he's bleeding with charisma. I mean, he's the best talker, like, on the mic. Just say, hypothetically, the best talker out there was a midget. Could he get over in wrestling? Yeah, imagine that. Just imagine in wrestling, and this thing, this little guy just destroys everyone because he's just oozing with charisma.
I mean, if you got a charismatic guy who wants to be in wrestling, you can always find a spot for him. But it's the idea of making it make sense.
First of all, I just want to point out, Aaron, I said if he was good. I didn't say. I'm talking about that had more charisma than anybody in wrestling right now. Literally. I mean, it'd be funny. Don't get me wrong. And he's just destroying everyone on the mic, whoever it is, he or she.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. So a lot of people are saying Doink the Clown, too.
Nah. I think what Frank said about with death matches, I think has a lot to do with it.
Well, that definitely didn't help, but that was also something that wasn't supposed to be seen. I think with what we're seeing now and the preponderance of it, you could tie it back to, like, the reason it's as bad as it is right now is, like, no joke. It's partly because of that, you know, broken Matt Hardy stuff. It's also because of PWG as a whole. Like, the thing about PWG is, though, nobody was supposed to see that because it doesn't have, like, TV or it's not broadcast anywhere. It was a thing where you had to be there, right? And then that's when they would do the Invisible Man shit and the hand grenade shit and all this other shit that they do. But of course, when now everybody has like a 4K camera, video camera in their pocket, so this shit gets out now. You know, we see all this stuff and then people think that's funny and they just think that's what wrestling is. And now the AEW is a thing. So now people that were stars in PWG just keep showing up, you know, in other places, and they take those bad habits there. So that doesn't help. But, you know, wrestling has always been, from the very beginning, they've always had stupid shit in it. But usually they would try to keep it separate, you know?
You could say Mexico has a lot to do with it too, man, if you think about it.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Japan to a lesser extent, sort of. They do some ridiculous shit.
No, look. Japan has outlaw promotions, but Japanese wrestling, like from the New Japan, All Japan era, from like the 70s, 80s,
All Japan
and 90s
during that
and
time
stuff,
was something else, right?
Yeah, like that was presented like a real fucking sport to that country. They weren't joking around with that shit. There was no joking around with that. And then Onita, that guy that Big Ray never heard of. Yeah, then he starts doing this weird shit with like an electrified eel match or whatever bullshit they're doing. And then that is so outrageous that people start talking about it and it makes waves, and tape traders watch these deathmatch things and then they think that's what that's supposed to be. But even that, like, even those deathmatch things, they weren't played for comedy necessarily.
No, absolutely not. Jeez.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. Whatever. Wrestling's fucked. Who cares? Shotzi and Scarlett are doing Ouija board. And then they get interrupted by the witches from SmackDown. So I guess they just hand off hosting duties to them. So now it's going to be.
What was up with that? That was weird, dude. What was the whole point of SmackDown for that to happen then? Like, didn't Shotzi win a match on SmackDown to have the right to host night 2?
Yeah, and then she just gave it up or whatever. No, I mean, she kind of had the right anyway. I think she just conceded it or whatever. But so anyway, Isla Dawn and Alba Fire come in and host. It's great. Next is, let's see. Mackenzie wants Tiffany Stratton to admit that Fallon's Tiffany Stratton impression was pretty good. And Tiffany Stratton does not admit that, surprising no one.
Did you think it was a good impersonation?
Yeah, it was actually the best thing that Fallon Henley's ever done on television.
I've seen her on the Next Level. Next Level, their show, the other show, the one that's just below, or Level Up. Sorry, yeah, that's right, not the Next Level. Close enough. But I've seen her. Not that I watch the show every week or anything, but sometimes if I have the WWE Network on in the background, it will just start playing. And I've noticed she's on there a lot. But now has she been on the main NXT show for quite a while now, recently, at All Vet, or is she just coming up now?
Fallon Henley's been on there for years now.
Really?
She's like the manager. She's the manager of the country duo of Briggs and Jensen.
Are they even still a thing? I haven't seen them in a long time.
Yeah, they're usually hanging out in the NXT kitchen area.
Of course. Jeez.
Yeah, so speaking of kitchens, Joe Gacy, he does a little promo with music underneath. So he lost his cult. The Grizzle Young Veterans quit. The Rock's daughter doesn't want anything to do with him, or actually, he kicked her to the curb in storyline.
She's traumatized now.
Yeah, she's traumatized. Who knows what she's going to do? I guess she's waiting for a repackaging. But in the meantime, we get this, just another creepy wrestling cult guy without a cult, but he's done bad things, but whatever. What is he even talking about? What is this going to, dude? You put on trunks and you have wrestling matches. There's no, you're not going to do what is this? That's what I'm saying. Like,
I have no idea, but you know what, man? He comes across as a poor man's Bray Wyatt, first of all, in my opinion. And he looks like a geek playing this role. He's not believable for me. He just doesn't do it for me. He truly looks like an emo kid that got into wrestling. Do you know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, and I don't like it, man. Like, stop trying to, and he's trying, is it just me, Vet, but is he trying a little too hard to conjure Bray Wyatt here, man?
I don't know. I guess you could see it, but he doesn't,
But he's bad.
Bray Wyatt is Bray Wyatt is too obvious a character to imitate. Like, you would have to do very specific things for people to think of that. I didn't really get that from this, but it's I don't know. It's just a trope that people overuse too much. Whether it doesn't matter. It's that creepy guy that just knows a little bit more than you, man. It's kind of like the righteous over in AEW or Ring of Honor or wherever they are, and just any one of these, like, yeah, they're all the same. There's nothing special about this. Someone in the chat defend this.
Well, like Liz says,
I know Liz hates
I want to
yank. But, I mean,
yeah, I felt the same way.
Can anybody defend Joe Gacy? I don't. No offense to the guy. Like, keep working hard and do what you do and make your money. But I'm just saying, from an entertaining me standpoint.
Yeah, that makes two of us, man. And and most of the chat seems to agree. So, yeah, fuck Gacy. I can't stand him.
Yeah. Oh, and I would say this too. I would just like to put a capper on it, right? So the thing about this is, if you aren't, like, I don't feel that Joe Gacy's promos are very good.
Jeez.
And he definitely has a bad body, right? So if your promos aren't good and you have a bad body, then you would think, like, well, he's got to be one hell of a worker, right?
You think maybe he should start going to me from now on.
To me, he's not. I can see that a lot of people like him, and a lot of people think he's a nice guy and he's a good guy, and they say he's good in the ring. I'm sure he's good enough in the ring, but, like, he's not so good that you don't notice those other things, right?
Right.
Like, if you're a hell of a talker and you're just, like, pretty good in the ring, like LA Knight or somebody, like that, you could get by.
Right. Possibly.
And he's obviously in great shape too, so that helps. If LA Knight was exactly the same and he looked like Joe Gacy, do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think that would be enough? Do you think his little catchphrase and stuff would be enough to get him over?
Nah, no chance.
No, some of it is that superstar shredded, jacked look. Some of it is that swagger. Some of it is that, you know what I mean? But if he was exactly the same, but he just looked and wrestled like Joe Gacy, that's not good enough, right? So,
nah. Definitely
nah. And that is not an insult. That is just a fact of life. Okay, so Dragunov jumps rope. Dragunov jumps rope. You like his jumping rope?
I guess. I mean, what's up with that? I mean, he does look like a fitness freak. I won't lie. But come on.
Okay, that's what he does. So next is supposed to be Fallon Henley versus Tiffany Stratton. But
wow.
Tiffany jump starts the match in the entrance, and there is no match because it never happens. And the announcers are just like, oh, well, no match anyways. Let's go to Metaphor. Like, Yeah, who cares, right?
Who cares? I mean, they don't care. Why should we? And do you feel like with Tiffany Stratton, they built her up against Becky Lynch, man? Becky even made it look like $1 million, you know, in that hardcore match that they had. When was it? The last PLE for NXT, whatever it was. But now, like after all that, you build her up, and now I feel like they've cooled her off a little bit, or they're cooling her off. And I don't know, man. That's how I feel anyway. That's just me, though.
You're talking about... Wait, you're talking... I'm sorry.
Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Fallon?
Tiffany
Tiffany Fallon.
Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, she's definitely... Something happened here. I'm not sure exactly what.
So you think that too? You think something's up?
Yeah, I do. There was a period where she wasn't doing that well, but then they went with her and she picked it up a little bit.
She picked it up out of the blue, dude, because I thought she sucked initially. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, she's kind of been up and down, so I don't know if she's got issues with nagging injuries or if it's emotional, something we don't know about. I'm not really sure, but...
No, interesting.
Yeah, not always like, you know.
That's interesting because I feel the same way. I feel like something's up. You don't just build her up or, you know, with Becky Lynch and all that. It made it look like $1 million and whatnot just for her to be back here now suddenly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, you're weird.
Yeah, who knows? But whatever. They just have her beat up Fallon Henley here. No problem.
No problem.
Yeah, then we do our first vignette of the Scooby-Doo and the...
Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, do you have any comments on this, Jimmy?
Shaggy? Look, I can't stand Noam Dar already, right? But I'll give him this. He was the star of these stupid vignettes.
Mm-hmm.
But this was silly shit, bro. This is beyond wrestle crap.
Yep.
And seriously, you're going to dress up. How are you going to take a wrestler seriously that dresses up like Scooby-Doo? I mean,
well, it's, you know, I mean, if it was like a one-time deal for Halloween, just the fact that they're dressed up like that. But that's not what this is. This is like a full, it's like a short film. It's a movie. Yeah, sure. They made their little movie with their little music and their special effects and all this shit. Like
Tozawa. This is just silly shit, man. Whatever. Cool, I guess.
Yep.
I mean, what do you say to this crap?
Well, if I didn't do a review show, I'd say click, but
wow. Yeah, this is just crap, man. This is just
and I pretty much like all the people here.
Right.
Like I do like Noam Dar. I do like Lash Legend and
Lash Legend, sure, absolutely.
Yeah, who what's her name? I'm sorry, now I'm drawing.
Got the other one's name. I'll find out in a moment.
Is Oro Mensah the other guy? He's like the guy I really don't care about, but even he's like
Daphne.
Okay. Daphne.
It was Daphne.
Daphne's the Scooby-Doo character.
Oh no, Jakara Jackson.
Jakara Jackson. That's right. Yeah, Jakara Jackson's pretty new, but she's been decent so far. So a lot of potential there. But this is just, this is just what somebody at WWE likes doing these things. Like they have fun with this. It's clear they put a lot of work into it and have a lot of fun with it. And since it's Halloween Havoc and it's a Halloween themed show and you're just goofing off, I'm not going to beat it up too much, but I'm also not going to like go in depth on a recap of it. If you want to watch this shit, watch it yourself,
Please don't. Yeah. Please don't get into a recap. There's no point of recapping that. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, what about this? Nathan Fraser versus Dirty Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship.
You know what? It was a quick match. Right, but I actually didn't mind it it was like a little quickie, but a decent quickie. I mean, I don't mind Dom in NXT, man. And I like the fact that Mummy keeps following him around too, even in NXT. But yeah, I didn't mind this match, dude. Dom retains, but do you want Dom to be a North American champion if he's mainly a main roster dude?
I don't know. Do you think that it really... Do you think that it really matters if he like takes that championship onto Raw or SmackDown or wherever, and does that bring visibility? Is anybody watching Raw and SmackDown and they say, what is that belt that Dominic Mysterio has? Oh, that's an NXT belt. Oh, now I want to watch NXT. Does that happen? Or no, nobody's doing that?
It does nothing. I mean, if it did, you'd see the numbers up, right? It seems like it's doing nothing. Maybe if you had the North American, now I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying it should be the case, but if you put the North American Championship on someone, say like a Seth Rollins, for example, right? Would that give it a bit more, eyes on the show?
No, it'll drag Seth Rollins down, is what it looks like.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's true.
I mean, it already looks like that. Because he's walking, he's walking around with the consolation belt, right?
Well, and you know what's messed up about that? It was WWE telling you that it's a consolation belt, essentially. Do you know what I mean? Which is bad. They've already built that belt. I know they're trying so hard, but to me, you killed it from the day they announced it, pretty much.
Pretty much. Well, anyway, so you liked the match. You thought it was...
I didn't mind it. It was short and sweet, man. It got to the point, and that was that.
Yeah. Well, some shenanigans happened, and Dominic hit the frog splash, so sorry, no new champion here, but...
I mean, did anyone think there was going to be a new champion? Let's be honest.
I don't know. I think that's actually a good question, but the thing is, Dominic always has the threat of losing it because he's not that good. Like he's the guy that's always has all the protection around him. So you feel like anybody is a threat to beat him at any time, right? Which gets him heat at one time. And I don't know if this helps or hurts Nathan Fraser, really. I don't know what Nathan Fraser's general consensus is in the eyes of the fans.
So. He's just bland, dude. Does he really have a personality? He was trained by Seth Rollins, I think, right?
Yeah, you could tell.
You can, actually. But no, look, I don't mind him, but there's nothing really to be behind him about. Like, as in, who is he? What is he? He's just a wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, he's got no personality.
Well, he wants to be the fastest wrestler. If you notice, everything he does is like really fast.
Is it really
even to the point, Jimmy, where you probably haven't seen this, but like he'll be backstage and then Mackenzie will be interviewing him, and then they'll play his music, and he'll be like, he'll be like, that's my music, and then he's like, whoosh, just
so he's the Hurricane,
kind of, or more like, but he's even dressed like the Flash before, like with the red and gold.
I think I've seen that. Yeah, I think I've seen. Well, you know what will pop me? If he comes out as the Hurricane. And then you have a situation with the two doinks. Remember back at WrestleMania 9? And they're both pointing at each other, doing the Spider-Man. It'd be like the meme.
Shane Helms is there.
Back. Yeah,
he's there.
I mean, come on.
We can do it.
You can thank us later, actually. Sugar Shane Helms. Remember that? 3 count?
Yes, I do. Do you remember Wes Lee? Because he came out and he attacked Dominic after this.
He did, and I guess he wants his North American Championship back. And I guess that's what they'll do. He'll beat Dominic when they do face off, I think.
Think so? Do you think he should be fired 100%. For attacking Dominic and punching him?
He should. He should be fired, but unfortunately he won't be.
Okay. All right, so next we have Andre Chase and Reptilian Britt Baker. And they're having a little chat, and then the Tony D'Angelo family comes in, and they make some they make some ominous suggestions, and then the witches come in dressed like Harley and Ivy. So there you go, a little more in the Halloween spirit.
Oh man, Chase, is it just me? Or are they way too chill? When they're talking, dude, when they're doing that backstage stuff, they talk kind of like this, man. They're very on the low. They're not really putting any emphasis in their voice. They're too quiet, man. Speak the fuck up. Hudson is way too chill. You know what I mean? He's going to sound funny coming from an Australian, but he's too Australian for my liking, dude. Do you know what I mean? It kind of annoys me in a way. He's like, yeah, nah, it's all good, mate. It's, he kind of talks like that. Speak up, man. Put some oomph in your voice. Like, do something. Even Chase, he seems too laid back with the way he delivers certain promos, except for when he's doing his university stuff. But I don't know. That's just me.
I think Andre Chase stays quiet until the moment when he has an outburst. So that makes it more
right. Well, exactly.
A greater contrast, right? Yeah, like exactly. I didn't even see this comment, but yes. Just like that. Like Chase has to get fired up first and lose his temper, you know.
He fruit booty, Jim. I like that. He's definitely fruit booty.
So yeah. All right. Then after this, Mystery Inc. looks for the cup some more.
God.
Sorry, Mike, I'm not going to review it. Just trust me, I'm doing you a favor by not talking about it. It's bad. Now here we have next is Robert Stone versus Braun Breaker.
First of all, I'm impressed that the former Robbie E has still got a job in WWE. I mean, seriously.
He's surviving.
He's surviving. I don't know how. But anyway, why? What was the point of this? And we had a little surprise.
Yeah, well, we know the point of this. The point of this is that Robert Stone got so mad at Braun that he challenged him to a match and immediately regretted it, but he had to go through with it. He had to stand up for his friend and be a man.
Right. I guess he was. Good on him. But, yeah.
Yep.
Whatever.
And then I was like, well, everybody else has beat Braun in this company, so how are they going to get Robert Stone to do it? He's the only one left. But actually, no, he didn't beat him. He hit him a couple times, but Braun killed him. So this is exactly how it should have went. But, hey, at least Braun finally got a win. All it took was for that to be a manager that never wrestles, and Braun Breaker can win a match. It's very exciting. He can't beat anybody else on this roster, but he can beat the manager that never wrestles. So that's good. And then he tries to give him the same treatment that he gave Von Wagner that put him in the hospital in the first place and on the road to recovery.
Ugh.
But we get some music, right? And Von Wagner comes out and he saves his friend.
Dude, he's still bandaged up for crying out loud, looking like a cone head. Oh, fuck me, man. Like, that straight away, the second he walked out, I was like, nah, I'm done. Like, they ruined his return, bro. It's been 2 months, has it not?
Yep.
People thought he was dead practically. Like, no shit. People thought that was a shoot with what happened to him, right? I remember when Twitter
Von Wagner?
Yeah, you know when Braun Breaker used it. Yeah, people
they thought it was a shoot and he died.
I kid you not. Well, not that he died, but like he legitimately done damage, to him. When really he never touched him with the steps. You know, all those videos came out showing that he didn't even touch him really. But they've killed Von Wagner's return already, dude. I'm sorry, but the way he came out looking like a conehead, all bandaged up and shit, like he just woke up from a coma. Come on, man.
And he made it just in time for the end of the match?
Yeah. He's not that whack that he doesn't know the times. I mean, come on.
He knew what time that the match would go on too. Like he already knew the card. So he must have been there and watched Shawn Michaels put it together and been like, oh, I see Robert's going on 100%. At this time to defend my honor. So I'll be sure to be available with my head bandage just in case just in case Braun gets a little bit out of control.
Oh boy, why did they do that? I mean, seriously, but cool, I guess. Cool. This is typical Shawn Michaels, man, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, think about it. That goofy shit with the bandage. After 2 months, did you remember it was 2 months ago? I mean, that's another thing. That is just something Shawn Michaels, to me, it feels like he's ribbing everybody by doing shit like that. I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel as if their egos, they don't want today's era to be better than their era. Sometimes I think like that. You know what I mean?
That's a really interesting point, Jimmy. And even though it sounds conspiratorial and crazy,
well,
it's believable.
Sad but true. That's what makes me think sometimes, like, could it be truly their egos? But I don't know, man. Whatever.
Yeah, it could. Because there's so much stuff on NXT where I'm like, the Shawn Michaels I thought I knew should know better than that. And you should be telling them, hey, don't do that. And they keep doing it. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Fucking bullshit, bro.
Well, hopefully if that's the case, they get over that shit because it's not helping.
Well, it's not helping, and you couldn't put it past him either, Vet. That's the weird thing. But anyway.
Right. Yeah, he's only one of the best to ever do it. You'd think you know a little more about wrestling. Anyway, Lyra Valkyria gets a nice little package here. She's the champ. So there you go. Okay, and then okay. All right, next is the Out the Mud and Scripts little vignette here.
Scripts is all gangster now. Is that his street name, supposedly? That's where Scripts comes from.
Yes.
So I'm supposed to believe this Reggie, who used to flip around like a fucking clown, suddenly is a hard motherfucker from the streets? He's straight out of the mud now? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, he was just playing that clown for you, Jimmy.
Oh, I see.
It was for you.
Well, now he's a hitter, bro. He's even more of a hitter than Eddie Kingston, even.
Here's what was funny to me about this. Besides the fact that this was clearly written by, you know what? Never mind. I'm just going to say whoever wrote this owes everyone an apology.
I know what you're going to say.
But
I know exactly what you're going to say.
But there was a funny thing that the way he told the story where he said, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something like, I bet you thought I was going around and sipping wine all my life and all this other stuff, right? And flipping, right? And he said, and then I met these men. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait, no. You're skipping the part where you dressed up like a supervillain, like a Stan Lee era comic book supervillain.
What happened to that?
And did like voice changed poetry and vandalized the performance center. You did not meet these men before you did that. So you're conveniently skipping over a portion of this timeline here, buddy. Don't try to make us forget about the original scripts. Okay.
And you
can
then
I met these men.
Yeah. You know what's sad about this, man, is the stereotypes and why this is booked the way it is. And like you were going to say, it feels like a certain... Anyway, yeah, I probably shouldn't even go there, but it's true. What you're thinking is so true. And it's stupid at the same time. And it felt like he was just sitting in the corner and be like, oh no, you're a black man. Let's just put him with Out of the Mud. Like, there, I said it. I mean, that's what bothers me about this company a lot of the times, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. The whole thing's kind of weird.
It is weird.
Supposedly this, like he did grow up in the streets and everything, and he got the Cirque du Soleil job or whatever, but
he would have been slapped on the streets. Come on, man.
Well, just because he grew up on the streets, it doesn't necessarily mean he was tough on the streets.
Exactly.
He could have been tough. There's different kinds of tough, right? Like tough to survive is maybe different than tough kicking everybody's ass. So, toughness comes in different forms, but you should have,
I mean,
that just goes to show you, it's like, well, here's a guy with this background and he gets up to WWE and they're like, well, have him be a sommelier. So I don't know. It's just not whatever, man. Hey, do your best. The Out the Mud, the tag team, they're pretty good. There's some stuff there that we can do. And it's even even this Reggie script stuff is like, okay,
I don't mind. He delivered it well, though.
But it's just too bad. Well, no, he didn't. But it's just too bad that we've already seen him be two other stupid things before we got to this point, right? Wrestling fans don't all have short memories. So
right, and that's extremely short. And Todd, the Comment King, says this promo insulted me as a black man and as a wrestling fan. I love his comments, man.
He's the Comment King.
Todd Brandley's the Comment King. And Frank's Pickle Barrel's ass says gangsters the go-to for all black wrestlers, I guess.
Or all the white producers telling them what to do.
Exactly. That's exactly what was going through my head. That's why I knew exactly what you're thinking. But you just called it. So it's true. It's like some white dude just, like I said earlier. But that's WWE for you, man. It is what it is. But I didn't mind Reggie Scripps, whatever you want to call him. It was funny. I laughed at the promo, but he was dead serious. He was trying to be dead serious.
Right.
For what it was, fine. It was okay. But I don't mind out the mud. Hopefully Reggie can pull something out of a hat with these two, because
pull something out the mud.
Yeah. Right. Straight out the mud.
Well, best of luck to those guys. Let's hope they get better material than this in the future. We'll just give this one. We'll let this one slide, and we'll give them like maybe one or two more strikes before we count them out.
Wait, are you saying they could be covered in mud by the time they're done with them?
Yeah. So anyway, next is let's call this tag team RBBFF versus Chelsea and Piper for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. And this was funny because the baby faces, which is Thea and JC, come out and they do their full entrance, and then the heels come out and they get jumped in the entrance by the baby faces that were already in the ring. This is great.
Bizarre. I love it, dude. Yeah.
We've never seen that before.
AEW once again, man. Are they really watching AEW thinking let's just do the same shit? Because like you said earlier, there's a lot of shit here that's very AEW. Even on the main roster, I've noticed some shit lately that's very AEW-esque. That worries me, Vet.
We should all be worried. We should all be very, very worried.
Should be afraid for sure, man. Definitely.
But yeah. Anyway, so like just watching this, Thea Hale is extremely funny. Like whenever she's trying to do whatever JC's doing, like she's trying to be cool or whatever, like, and trying to dance or any of these other stuff, or just stuff you see her doing off to the side. It's not even like the camera's not focusing on it. She's just doing it. So you have to pay attention to Thea in these kind of matches, because you'll see a lot of funny stuff that she does.
I like Thea, dude. I actually do. I think she's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, very funny. They have their match. Not, it's
it was shit.
It's okay.
It was all right. Too.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, most of these women know what they're doing. I would actually say JC's the worst one.
JC, man,
she didn't mess anything up this time that I could see.
She didn't have a chance to be fair.
Right. Well, she did make a full comeback on a hot tag, so
I guess. I mean, how long did this match go for? 2 minutes flat?
I don't know, but they're doing this thing lately where a match will start and then go to break immediately.
I hate
That's happened on SmackDown. That's happened on NXT. It happens on Raw. They just go right to that break as soon as the bell rings. It's almost like, we're ringing that bell and we'll be right back. You won't miss a second in picture. It's like, dude, what is the strategy? Can somebody tell me what the strategy is of starting a match and going to break in 30 seconds? Like what? What would be the reasoning that you would format your show like that?
I was going to ask you the same thing. What would be the reasoning behind that? And there's no reason. Not that you can think of. I mean, unless it's something to do with the advertisers, but even that still doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Well, like Mike Martin says, if you're producing a good show, your match shouldn't go through the break unless it's a good hook. True.
If you're planning to have a long match and you need a commercial break or two, that makes sense. If you're not having that long of a match, I don't get why you would stick a break in it. And I certainly don't understand why you would, you know what I mean? Like, when you're watching the NFL, do the team get the ball and then they take one snap and go to commercial? No.
Yeah, that's true.
That'd be the equivalent of that. Like, don't worry, we'll have picture in picture the next 3 plays. Yeah, just whatever. Anyway, so Andre Chase is stopping JC from using the championship as a weapon. And then she turns around and Chelsea hits the Unprettier and beats her. And the witches laugh from the crow's nest.
I hate
because they said the titles were cursed, and I guess they are. But I mean, if the titles are cursed, then how does that affect the champions who retain?
Well, that's another story.
The curse of retaining the championship. You have to carry these through the airport for another week. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, the accent, Vet, is very, very annoying.
You don't like it?
Not on girls, man. It suits males, does not suit chicks. Sounding like a Scottish.
You don't want every woman to sound like Fat Bastard or Shrek.
No, please, Vet. No, really, it's too strong, man. For a chick, it just sounds off. The English accent, I don't mind on the female. The Scottish one is just to roll your R's. Too much of that.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. They can't help it.
They can't help it. That's true. That's true.
Here's something you could have helped. Mackenzie is with Lexis King.
Well, what can you say? I mean, they could have helped, but they didn't. I mean,
good Lord. What a bunch of nothing this was. Like, this is...
Yeah.
Should we just move on to the next one? I don't want to
insult the kid. We should.
I don't want to insult the kid.
We should.
I like him. I don't want to insult him.
Let's not.
Yeah. All right. The finals of the breakout tournament for the women.
Mm-hmm.
It's Kalani Jordan versus Lola Vice. Now, Jimmy, I don't know how closely you follow these women, but who did you think, just looking at the entrances, who did you think was going to win this?
Lola Vice, easily.
Easy? What gave it away?
Well, I mean, Lola Vice right now is not only she hot. I mean, she's hot in general. I love how she's always dancing. Maybe she dances a little too much, but still, keep dancing, girl. Keep doing your thing. But you could tell, man. NXT, whatever you want to call it, you could tell they were pushing her, dude. They were pushing her for something big, and here she is. She wins.
Yep. The crowd has been behind Lola Vice since day one, and she's been a heel since day one. So the crowd is definitely we're not. Yeah, we're not. Yes, that's exactly. See,
what?
You thought.
No. She's a heel, bro.
Kalani Jordan is the cute white meat baby face, like, aw shucks, gee golly, I'm going to do my best. And Lola Vice is just the sassy, spicy heel, and she kicks the shit out of people. And
she's not a heel, bro.
Chat. Come on. Back me up. Chat. You've been watching.
Well, if she's supposed to be a heel, she's doing
at least you've been watching Next Level.
Well, it's been she's doing a bad job of being a heel, dude. She's not even playing up as a heel.
Well, I'm just saying, like, regardless.
I mean, does she really come across as a heel? If you didn't I haven't watched all her fucking matches. I've been seeing her recently, and I like what I see, but I'm telling you, you could have fooled me, dude.
I mean, she's not necessarily doing anything heelish, but that may have been because of the reaction she's got from the beginning.
Maybe.
They decided not to lean into anything, but she's just she's a heel hoochie mama. She's a baby face in my eyes, pal. She's a hot heel. Lola's the spicy Latina heel with Carmen Sandiego. Jimmy the vet never wrong. Well, that's not true. Heels ain't supposed to look as balls hot as Lola and Elektra. I mean,
oh man, here's the comments.
You know, no, I'm not saying
Carmen Sandiego.
Yeah. Well, I have to take credit for that one. She used to wear a big hat, but yeah, it's the thing. I'm not necessarily saying she's doing a good job of being a heel, but like
She's not.
that's
man.
definitely where they positioned her. Like they thought it's another case of WWE miscasting their roles. Like, but maybe people wouldn't have liked her if they tried to make her like the aw shucks baby face like Kalani Jordan is. Maybe they only like her because she's a little mean spirited. She dances, and you know
she's a typical Latina, man. Yeah, right. Yeah. I like it. She's got a good. Her energy is very. How do I put it? Like, I like her energy, man, and what she brings. You know what I mean? But really, for now, from what I see, she's just a dancing girl, Latina girl for now. But she's got something. I mean, I love the fact that even when she's in a bit of a grueling match, and I use that term lightly, she's still dancing, bro. She's still dancing.
5-minute match.
Yeah, a grueling 5-minute match. But she looks tired.
That's another thing. That's another thing that was great that Thea Hale did when they had to wrestle, and she's doing her dance, and Thea's over there like in the other corner, like jiggling. It's very funny.
You could say that.
Here's what I
TGY.
Hey, here's what I wonder. How does Lola Vice have so much like skin exposed and still so covered up at the same time?
Good question. That's actually
like, do you notice how like she's
you're right.
You could see like the sides of her legs, and you know her ass is like there,
is?
but it's not like sticking out, but it's there, but it's covered up and sticking out at the same time.
I think it's her chest, man, because she doesn't have such big breasts, sort of thing, right?
Well, I'm just talking about the whole outfit, though. Like,
yeah, but like, I think it's that kind of makes her seem like she's covered up in some ways. But in saying that, a lot of women wrestlers do wear, and it's not this, but I'm just saying, then they wear sort of clear, oh my God, man, I've gone blank again. God, what are the fucking stockings? Like clear stockings, sort of thing, instead of being just bare-legged. Because usually they're not really bare-legged per se.
Yeah. Well, you know, I don't know. It's some kind of magic wardrobe stuff. But yeah. You know, as for the match, it's another typical. Okay, so this time, Lola got heat on the leg. Until Kalani had to make her entirely leg-related comeback. So it's like, I was like, are you sure Kalani Jordan isn't a Seth Rollins student too? Is she from the Seth Rollins school of, you can do anything to, you know, to my leg, as long as I grab my knee, it's okay. You know, like, yeah, I can do moonsaults and flips and jump off of stuff all I want. As long as I hit the ground and clutch my knee in pain, then it's okay. You know?
John.
Yeah. So anyway, Elektra Lopez caused a distraction when Jordan's climbing up. Jordan's climbing up to hit her split-legged moonsault, which is her finisher. Shouts to RVD. And then she kicks Carmen Sandiego off the apron, and then she misses the moonsault, and then Lola gives her the old 360-degree foot slap for the 1, 2, 3, and Lola Vice is your breakout women's tournament champion,
and well deserved in my opinion. But in saying that, Carmen Sandiego, wasn't there a lot of hype on Lopez when she first debuted, man?
So she was with basically they just moved up the LWO and left her behind and put in Zelina.
Right? Yeah, true. But I think Lopez would have been better in that role, technically.
Probably. So what are the politics behind that?
Good point.
We don't know.
For
I
sure.
I don't mean to imply that I know, but clearly there's something going on there. I mean, you have. It always is weird when you just have a whole group, but they just not you, Elektra Lopez. You don't. Like not you. We don't need you.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're right. But you know who would really suit that role? I mean, imagine Selena De La Renta. Being in that role. Tell me, and I've always felt that that woman is so talented, but doesn't get a look in on any of the main sort of promotions, which is odd. Now, I don't know if it's her background or, what she gets up to, if you know what I mean.
Not so much background, but, current ground.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, they're pretty revealing if you don't know. Could it be that? Because I feel like she's got so much talent and she's being wasted in MLW. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, she stands out in a place like MLW for sure.
Definitely.
But
100%.
Let me just tell you, Selena's on my list. Okay. If I have a list of people that I would hire, she's definitely on my list. She'd have a job in my company. That's all I'm gonna say.
I've always been a huge fan of hers, man. I've always just wondered, like, how has either one of these companies not brought her in? Is she too woman for these promotions? Could it be that?
Yep.
It is what it is.
Could be. And they don't want, they also don't want to get somebody in there that can outshine people. Do you realize how many
people, for sure.
Dude, how many people in the WWE right now, Selena De La Renta would eat alive on the microphone?
Oh, don't get me started, bro.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing I was saying about like why they, like Brad Armstrong. They don't want,
right.
They need somebody to make the stars look good. They don't want somebody outshining the stars, right? So
100%.
That's why you get this role down here. You be the good little hand and then make all of our shitty wrestlers look good. That's the same thing. She doesn't really wrestle anymore because of her injuries that she sustained. So she doesn't compete in the ring very much anymore. So then they just be bringing in another person to talk on the mic and pay all that money. And they don't want to do that too.
Even if she can't wrestle anymore. Yeah, exactly. Right. You bring her in as a valet that can definitely talk. And sure, she might outshine a lot of peeps. But man, think about this. Imagine Andrade being paired with her originally. I think that would have been money if she was the mouthpiece for Andrade. I mean, that would have been a thing. But unfortunately, any of them, for sure.
Or just a GM, just have her be a GM. You imagine,
that'd be awesome.
Instead of, okay, look, with all due respect to Adam Pearce, would you rather see a promo between Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis or Selena and Nick Aldis?
Honestly,
yeah,
I would go for Selena. I'm not kidding.
Right.
No shit.
But no, let's just have milquetoast old Adam Pearce out here with his no charisma. Like, let's just do that. So I don't know, whatever. It's not an either or situation. I'm sure everybody's got their own things going on.
For sure.
Wrong guy, Frank. Was she with Mil Muertes? I think he's thinking of.
I'm pretty sure she was. I
thought that was what's her name?
I thought it was Selena too. I could be wrong. Maybe we're wrong. I mean, I'm not sure, but maybe. By the way, she should be in one of the major companies, no doubt about it.
Yeah. All right. Back to the Haunted Mansion. Tozawa wants a cup match. And that's all he wanted.
God. What can I say about this dude again? There's nothing for me to say, man, other than the chicks are hot. That's it.
Yeah. And Noam Dar got eaten by ghouls, I guess. So maybe he doesn't. He doesn't defend.
He
the
ran
cup
off.
He died.
Benny Shaggy.
Did he die?
Literally. Maybe he became a Scooby snack.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. Shaggy.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Again, this is too much. Like you said, it was a little movie and it just kept on going.
Right. All right, so Mello and Ilya get ready for their match, and then the Witches are backstage, and then they're talking about something before Robert Stone and Von Wagner come through, yelling at each other, and Wagner's saying he wants a match with Braun next week, and Stone's telling him that he's not ready, and he's saying he is ready, and then Stone's like, no, you're not, and he's like, yes, I am, and then
I know you are,
he's like,
but
fine, I'll get you a match.
God.
So
he's going to lose. They're already telling you he's going to lose because he's not ready, right? So is he going to come out all bandaged up again still?
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. The rib is still on, Jimmy. The rib is still on.
They must have hated his old man. I mean, well, they were the Beverly Brothers too, if you remember.
Yeah, well. All right, it's time for the main event.
Woo! Nah.
Yeah.
God.
This is the third match of the trilogy.
Too fast.
Carmelo Hayes versus Ilya Dragunov 3. Can you believe we're already up to 3?
I can't. Or can I? Hasn't it been 3 in 3 weeks, it feels like, Vet?
Something like that.
Could we have?
When was No Mercy?
About 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, tops.
Yeah.
4 weeks ago. Easily. I mean, maybe we're getting a Benoit versus Booker T. Actually, sorry, Pegasus Kid versus Booker T. Best out of 7 match.
That's a 7, yeah.
Yeah. Don't put it past them. That might actually happen. I'm telling you, dude. Don't put it past them. That's a real Survivor Series. I'm talking about for the viewer, that is.
Well, these guys do a lot to each other. As if to prove that point, they're basically starting this match with German suplexes. Like, you know how they've been going to the break 30 seconds in? Well, don't worry. There was several German suplexes before they went to the break. They do a bunch of strike exchanging and German suplexes and a double down before we even get.
It was 100 miles an hour, Vet.
This would normally be the spot where they get about 17, 18 minutes in and do this, and they start with it. So
yeah, it should have been over right then and there, but no. I mean, maybe look, I like both these guys, right? I know you're not the biggest fan of Mello, but when it comes to Ilya Dragunov, is he too snug, for this company?
Depends. Some people like it, some people don't. So it depends on what the majority of people are. There's going to be people that watch him and say, I don't want to get in there with him. And then there'll be other people that, yeah. And then there'll be people that are like, that's the kind of match I like to have. So it depends. It's person to person. So,
well, yeah, there are wrestlers that do like a snug. Like, I guess Sheamus is one of those guys, for example.
Yeah, Sheamus would definitely be into it. Although I think he really likes being on the giving end.
Right, absolutely, as you would, for sure. No doubt about it, 100%. And that's his problem. As good as Ilya is, right? And sure, you could say he can't really work properly in the ring, per se. But I think once he gets on the main roster, he's just going to be viewed out as just way too small, man. Do you know what I mean? If he even gets to the main roster, I can see him being... He's already a mainstay in NXT already, way too long. I mean, do you think he will even sort of debut on the main roster?
Yeah, of course he will.
Okay, we'll see.
And it's not too far away, probably.
I hope
but
so.
He doesn't... Yeah, he doesn't... I mean, he doesn't project small. That's the thing.
No, he doesn't. You're right.
He feels much bigger than he looks.
You're right. I'll give you that. That's 100%. It's because of the way he uses his body. You can kind of compare him with Darby Allin. This is why I don't hate on Darby as much as others do, because at least he understands that he's a small guy and knows how to work, his body as a smaller guy, knowing that he has to use his body in different ways to sort of get a win, which he does. I think Ilya kind of does the same thing also. Not to the same extent, though, but if you get where I'm coming from.
Sure. But yeah, it's so... I don't know, man. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
He is ever since he debuted, back in NXT UK the first time I saw him. You know, I'm sure he was working a little bit before that, but I was always been confused about him. Like, what is he doing? He just seems like very spastic and like I couldn't really figure out what his character was trying to be, and I'm not sure he knew either. Sometimes he would wear those contact lenses, sometimes he wouldn't. Sometimes he wears a fluffy robe, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he keeps changing his music.
Oh my god, dude!
I can't figure if he's a heel or a baby face. Like he's crazy, but I don't know. It just I've been trying to figure him out. You know, he's kind of settled into a sort of some consistency lately, but at the start, he was trying to figure some stuff out, I think.
Actually, it's funny you brought up consistency. I think that's sort of him. He's like, if you want to sort of say his persona, like sort of describe his persona, consistent and inconsistent is actually well put. I think his character is very inconsistent, even though he's playing this crazy Russian, right? That's actually born and raised, or not born in Germany, but raised in Germany. Born in Russia, raised in Germany. I don't know if he's still trying to figure himself out, because he really hasn't changed. I remember him even in the indies, in the European indies before NXT. Like, he already had a name out there before he joined WWE. And him and Walter, obviously, you know, the history is there also, if you go back on those matches back in their day on the independents. But he's just, what is he? He's just a crazy Russian. A spastic Russian, though, is well put.
I mean, I guess that's fine. I mean, the people seem to be into it, so let's see how that translates into a bigger stage eventually. I mean,
but shouldn't you make him into a real badass heel as a Russian, especially right now with Putin and all that shit?
No.
No? Okay, fair enough. I mean, maybe that's too 1980s. Just
it is. It's a little bit.
It is, definitely.
And if he's not that, you know, like you said, and like he said, it's one thing if they say, you know, okay, I'm a Russian, whatever. But he's already said that he basically grew up in Germany. So just because he's Russian born doesn't mean he's a Russian. So what's the heat with Germany right now?
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. There's no real heat with Germany right now.
You just have to be loyal to the country you were born in, right? Like there's you if my original birth country's at war, I got to go to war for them. Like, no, man.
Right, no, that's true. And at least WWE didn't like destroy him after, you know, all the Russian heat going on around the world, if you know what I mean, with Ukraine and whatnot.
Yeah. So anyway, after this violent match of guys doing moves to each other, Trick Williams conveniently appears right before the finish of the match. There's a lot of good timing, like with Von Wagner and Trick Williams, and then they had their music ready and everything. So he just shows up and stands there, and then you know,
it was just for the whoop.
Carmelo Hayes has the old "what's he doing here" face on, and then he gets hit with a superplex by Dragunov because he caught him looking, and then he hits him with the Torpedo Moscow, and he wins the trilogy match, defends his championship. Carmelo Hayes is defeated. Dragunov is your winner. And then he fucks off, and then Trick Williams comes in and yanks Carmelo Hayes up by the arm, and they have a face-off, and then Vic Joseph is like, something's happening, and then they go to the back where Corbin is getting himself fired by attacking Dragunov. So, yeah, he's just sitting there holding Dragunov, and there you go. So now because of that, we don't, you know, Trick is no longer, I guess, interested in explaining why he came out there or doing anything. Like he doesn't care anymore. All we care about now is Baron Corbin again.
Wow, they definitely do care about Baron Corbin again. And you know what? To his credit, I think he's been pretty good in NXT compared to his main roster run in recent times. I think Corbin is a lot better than a lot of people realize, to be honest. I said it. He's not that bad. People like to shit on him. But really, he's actually not too bad at all. As far as Trick Williams and the Mallow part, am I missing something? Now, I've been on and off with NXT the last 8 weeks, say, right? On and off. I've been catching NXT, say, every second week, per se, for the last 8 weeks, right? And have they turned on each other yet? The last time I watched NXT, they hadn't turned on each other yet. So,
no, they heavily implied that Carmelo Hayes is the one that attacked Trick Williams to keep him out of a fatal 4-way match for the #1 contendership.
I see.
Basically, Trick talked himself into a 4-way for the #1 contendership. Then, right before the match was supposed to happen, he was mysteriously attacked backstage. Never happens in wrestling.
I remember that. Right.
You're right. Mysteriously attacked. And then they went ahead and made the triple threat match, which it originally was. So it reverted back to a triple threat. Carmelo Hayes won the triple threat. And then the following week on NXT, everybody was asking Carmelo if he's the one that took out Trick Williams. And he kept saying, nah, man, nah, man, nah, man. And then, so they heavily implied that he's the one that did it. And then he only did this to keep Trick from stealing a spotlight again or some shit like that. And then when Trick comes out here to confront him, it's obvious that Trick is acting like he knows something.
Right.
So
that's why I'm asking.
But who cares? Because Dragunov was attacked backstage by Baron Corbin, so we don't have time to care about that anymore.
Which makes it weird booking. Why would they do that at the end? Just to, it shits on what's going on between Trick and Mello. But I get it, I guess, because Dragunov is your champion, so that has to take priority. But then why do this spot in the first place right now? And I was waiting for Trick. I'm thinking, whoa, no Trick. You would have thought we would have seen Trick a lot earlier, but it made sense, I guess, why he came out. But what does this imply? Who the fuck knows? Because, like you said, he probably knows something that we don't.
Yeah. But we'll have to wait another week to find out if he knows, because as you know, life only exists for those 2 hours on Tuesday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. And then all life is on pause for the entire week until next week. So Trick's not going to go on social media and talk about it. No one's going to interview him. No one else is interested to see, like, hey, why did you come out there, Trick? No one's going to ask him about it. We're just
maybe he was trick or treating.
Yep. He doesn't even have Carmelo Hayes' phone number, even though they've been best friends since they were kids. He doesn't have his phone number, so he couldn't ask him anything like in private.
Right.
No DMs, no nothing. We just have to wait until we both come to work, assuming we make it to work unassaulted. Because it's very dangerous in the parking lot. It's very dangerous. Backstage is very dangerous. In the ring is very dangerous. In your own entrance is very dangerous. I mean, we saw the baby faces run out and jump the heels face to face. Like the heels were watching them the whole time. Remember, Piper and Chelsea are on their way to the ring, looking at the ring, and JC and Thea just run out there while they're looking at them and sucker punch them. Amazing. So you're never not in danger in NXT, buddy.
Never. As a matter of fact, it's a new trend now. Like, danger. It's danger everywhere. But no, you're right. That's why I like asking. Sometimes when I watch this show, I think, does this brand truly get you ready for the main roster? Because sometimes it's so opposite the way things are done. And sometimes I truly feel, other than the cameras and just TV in general, does it really get you ready for the main roster, do you think?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, interesting. I just feel like it's become too hokey in NXT, at times.
It is. I mean, it's hokey, but it's like, I guess it's harder to tell when you're there because you're in it. Like,
fair.
These NXT kids, they're probably not going back and watching this whole episode. They probably got a lot of other stuff to worry about, and they're not worried about going and watching the episode, right? They only know what they're involved in. So, that's kind of like that with the WWE too. You're up there on the road. If you're on SmackDown and you got your little match or your little segment or your little promo or whatever you got, you ain't going to go back and watch SmackDown when you get home. You've had enough wrestling. You've had enough traveling.
For sure.
You've had enough, whatever. You don't have time for that shit. So you don't see how bad the entire show is. You just know what you've got in front of you and how that went because you lived it. And yeah, you might go back and watch your part, but you're not watching the whole show. I mean, maybe some of them do. I don't know, but I bet a lot of them are probably like, yeah, it's enough wrestling for me. I was there all day. I don't need to watch it.
Especially if you have to put up with all the bullshit that goes along with it. You know what I mean? You'd definitely be like that. Oof.
Yeah, so. Well, there it is. We tried not to go 2 hours and we did it anyway. So.
Oh shit, we did too.
I guess we just had such a good time with everybody here, and your wonderful contributions in the chat and getting sidetracked and having fun and yeah. I mean, we just time flies when you're having fun, man.
Time definitely flies. As a matter of fact, I can't believe it's 4 a.m. for me. Jeez.
Whoa. Well, that's okay. You don't exist anyway, so it doesn't really matter what time it is.
I just go in, in little sleep mode, like a PC. You know what I mean?
Hibernate.
Oh, thank you, Mike, man. I appreciate that, dude. That means a lot. Like I said, thank you to everybody, man. I mean, it's been peaking. I mean, the whole time we haven't lost viewers, we've just gained viewers, and thanks to you guys in the chat. I mean, you always make it a pleasure doing these things, and that's a shoot for sure, man.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we're hitting our demo too. Like that's the key. That's the key number we want to make sure that everybody in here has got to be 18 to 49, right? So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we definitely nailed the demo. We got a 1. We got a 1,000% in the demo. So.
I mean, do we even have kids listening? I highly doubt that. Well, then again, you never know.
That'd be great. Maybe there's some lurkers. You never know. But.
Maybe, for sure. Definitely. Well, in saying that, Vet, I guess we're going to take it home because we did do another 2 hours. So tell them they can find you, bro.
Well, of course, they can find me everywhere at Opinion Haver on all your favorite social media platforms and everything like that. You can check me out on Mondays for the Impact Attack live with Brandon. It'll always be the Impact Attack, but maybe it's going to be the TNA show that we're reviewing, even though they didn't change a thing yet. And a matter of fact, Jimmy, what do you think about this? Bound for Glory, their biggest show of the year, basically their WrestleMania. And what do you think they do on their first episode after? A clip show from Bound for Glory. Without any TNA show? Branding on it whatsoever. Just still Impact Wrestling. Just.
Oh no, I knew that. I was watching the Impact Attack, as a matter of fact, and I remember you guys pointing that out, and I'm thinking, what? There was no TNA branding, so after all that, they still are not ready to brand over.
They kind of jumped the gun on that announcement a little bit. If they weren't ready to roll it out, huh? But wow. I don't know. You know, that's just how they do things there. Everything there is just makes you shake your head. It's just like NXT, but in a different way. Like there's different rottenness over there. So but you can hear me and Brandon talk all about it every Monday live at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. And of course on channelattitude.com as well. And you can find me on The Wreckage every Sunday morning with yourself, Jimmy, you know this, and Chris Ambs, Lambs and Noel, bullshit first thing in the morning. We talk about the declining collision, how that's turning into Dynamite, which is just turning into a mess. Yeah, it's
an understatement.
Rough. But you can hear us try to make some sense of it every Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. And then check out Wrestling with Rip Rogers on YouTube. Great interviews, such as Bobby Fulton from the Fantastics was an interview. Great interview with him this past week, and who knows who they'll have next. But check out Wrestling with Rip Rogers every Friday for a live Q&A. And check out Stevie Richards. He's got his fitness channel. He's got his fitness podcast. He's got his fitness reviews on his channel. But even more than that, he's got the Stevie Richards Wrestling Analysis on Patreon and YouTube. So
and he's killing it.
Lots of great stuff. Breaking down Ric Flair's Figure 4 leg lock and just a bunch of stuff for Stevie Richards. He's doing too much. Like, you want to talk about getting burnt out on wrestling. I don't want to say burned out on Stevie Richards, but I'm falling behind. His content rate is exceeding the limit at which I can keep up with it. So please, Stevie, slow down. Not for your sake, but for my sake. God, I can't watch all this. But yeah, check him out if you have the time to watch all that. He's just pumping out content nonstop. Yeah, what a renaissance man, Stevie Richards. That's it for me.
Literally.
What about you?
Literally a renaissance, and I just want to say, man, I just love that Stevie has the love for professional wrestling once again, man. And no shit, everything he's doing is literally, he's hitting it out the park, and I'm just so happy that he's getting the attention that he's earned. No doubt about it, man, because there's no better man than Stevie when it comes to analysis of pro wrestling. But anyway, if you want to follow me on the Twitter, the X, you can at DJ Mass Effects. Also, like and subscribe right here on channelattitude.com with $5. Not only do you get the realest talking pro wrestling, but you get the best talking professional wrestling. Also, Hamin Media Group.podbean.com and the PWC Network.podbean.com, where you can find my other shows. But yeah, I think that's a wrap, Vet. So in saying that, I am Jimmy T. That is the Vet, Jamie Williams, and you've been listening and watching the Next Level podcast right here on channelattitude.com. And we're out. Peace.
Guys, listen, whatever 'tis hours paying you, I can pay you double. I can get you whatever you need. What do you need? Family, a home? Oh, you don't need to stand up. What? Please, Tozawa, I'm done. Look at me, Tozawa! Please give me the cup back.
All I want is Heritage Cup match.
No way! You didn't even get a point in Nickelodeon! Tozawa, make it stop! You can have your match! You've got your match! Next week, you know if you want, just back them off! Please! Yes! Yes!
See you next week.
Yes, we're back! We're back! Go.
And Braun just picking up and tossing.
Oh, Vic, stop cheerleading. You don't look
I feel
good.
bad for the guy.
You don't look good doing that, Vic. Just do your job. Just do your job. You do that very, very well.
Well, some believe Braun also has been wearing what he did to Von Wagner like a badge of honor. Like it's a trophy on his shoulder that is now.
Look,
hopefully this is the end for Braun Breaker, who just feared.
No bread, no water, just me.
Booker!
Oh! Hey, whoa.
Oh, Henley not going to stay down. Look at these two. The bell hasn't sounded.
Let's do it.
And look, Tiffany Stratton did say she was done just a second ago, but she certainly doesn't like when someone gets one up on her.
When you big enough to pass a lick, you big enough to take one. That's what my mama said.
Ooh! Oh, Henley going knee first, and again, referee trying to get
you asked for it. You want to fight, right?
For nothing. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking about Valentina. She wanted this.
Hold on a second. I thought Tiffany would have been flattered that Henley was impersonating her. This isn't right. Even you know that.
No, it's not. It's not right.
Can't do this again. Look! It's Von Wagner! He's walking!
He's talking.
He's here! Von going right after Braun Breaker. Bam! Take it to him, big man! All the pain, all the trauma. And Von planning Braun.
Oh, wait a minute.
It's Jane looking. Oh, wait a minute. Green, unprettier connects. Second time the charm. Into the cover. And Green and Niven retain. That landing just shocked and shook us, Book.
Oh, man, that's what I'm talking about, this kid.
Frazier's got to be out. Dominic to the top. Frazier's not moving. Broad splash.
Nice, beauty, big boy. Oh, yes.
Mysterio retains.
Here is your winner, and still the NXT North American Champion.
Big, stand up.
Dominic Mysterio.
Stand up, Big. Stand up. Stand up, Big. Oh, no.
Crash and burn for Garza. Julius rising with Carrillo. Brutus fall. Booker, that's Wesley.
Wait a minute.
The Cardiac Kid has returned. And appears to have set his sights on an old foe. Kalani going to the tank. Hey! What you mentioned with Lopez. Looking for the proof she's one of a kind
Right on that
again.
knee,
And
right in the book.
didn't connect your right book on the injured left knee. And good night. Vice into the cover. Lola Vice, the breakout superstar.
Here is the winner of the 2023 NXT Women's Breakout Tournament, Lola Vice.
He's going to go for that shot.
Looking for that exclamation point off the top. Got caught. Got dropped. This is Hayes' moment.
He's going to do it.
Trying to get back to his feet. Hayes starting to climb. Hayes.
What?
Trick is back. Hayes looks like he's seen a ghost. We gotta remember though, Booker, a championship matchup still going on. It's the main event of Halloween Havoc. The champion now. That door open, looking to slam it shut. is rocked.
He's in that position.
Torpedo Mosca. Dragunov retains.
The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.